Hello, everyone. It's me, Monica P. Hall, aka Conduit of Healing, and it is time for our weekly messages for the collective. I just want to say before we get started this week that I really hope all of you who have been watching these messages for the past few months are really getting something out of them. I hope that, it is giving you a different perspective on life, your approach to life, your relationships, how you see the world, how you see yourself, and that you're really taking the time to really, self-reflect, consider, and if changes are needed, applying those changes. For those of you who have been commenting, I absolutely greatly appreciate you. Those of you who have subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for your likes. Again, truly, truly appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed yet, please take the opportunity right now to do so. I invite you to subscribe. And if you enjoy this message at the end, I do hope you will hit the like button. All right, let's see. What is this message going to be about today? All right. We didn't write it down today. We typed it out. Let's see. You cannot love someone into healing themselves. Love doesn't heal people. Self-love does. So the crew's got a doozy for us this week, right? You cannot heal someone into loving themselves. Love doesn't heal people. Self-love does. Okay, so this is obviously going to be a doozy, right? As long as you live, as long as we live, there are going to be love relationships, whether it's the love you have for your family, the love you have for your friends, the love you have for your romantic partner. We need to understand that though we love one another, though we appreciate one another, though we attempt to fix one another, though we try perhaps in meaningful ways to change one another, we can't. We cannot change one another. We cannot fix one another. We cannot heal wounds in one another that we did not cause. Love is this beautiful energy that reminds us that there's a little bit more to life than just the basics. Eating, drinking, using the restroom, surviving, perhaps educating ourselves, working. Love reminds us there's a lot more to life than just those mundane things. But what love cannot do is heal something outside of the individual that the individual is not ready to heal. For example, in my work as a psychic medium, I get a lot of people wondering how they can help someone they know who may be hurting, someone that they love, or how they can save a relationship that may be either going through a rough patch or maybe slowly breaking apart. And here's what I really want to make clear, and the crew asked me to make clear. Loving someone means a certain amount of acceptance of where they are and letting them know that you empathize, that you have compassion for them. But what it cannot mean is you stepping over the boundary of free will and taking over their lives to the point where you can basically mind fuck yourself or delude them into thinking, A, it's your job to fix them and heal them. B, that you actually can fix them or heal them. I have a lot of people waiting for their partners to change so that they can have the ideal relationship. with them. I have a lot of people waiting for their kids to change, waiting for their parents to change, waiting for their friends to change into healthier people so that they can have a healthier relationship with them. And I want to be clear in saying this. If the person you're looking for change in, if the person you are waiting to heal, waiting for them to change, waiting for them to get better, waiting for them to figure it out, waiting for them to listen to you, waiting for them to appreciate you, if you're doing all of that waiting, but they don't think that there's an issue, you're wasting your time. And I'm saying that because you cannot make a person own a problem that they are in denial about, they refuse to address, they refuse to work on, they refuse to heal. Love does have a limitation, and the limitation of love is free will. Just like the limitation of all things when we are trying to basically overstep and control somebody else's life. And I know it sounds crazy because it's simple. You know, the argument might be, but I love them. Here's the thing. It doesn't really matter how much you love them if they don't love themselves. The loving of ourselves is what gives us permission to heal. The loving of ourselves is what will fuel the courage that we may not have in order to do the hard work of unlearning and relearning so that we can develop new healthy habits and reactions to things that might trigger trauma, or to ways that we manage our lives, deal with the disappointment in our life that in the past may have been detrimental to our well-being. We have to now replace with, healthy options, healthy habits, healthier reactions. No one else can do that work for you. So it doesn't matter how much you love your partner, you love your parent, you love your child, you love your friend. That will never give you the permission to overstep that crucial part of the entire formula, their relationship with themselves. If I truly don't like myself, but I surround myself with a whole bunch of people who truly, truly love me, and they see me hurting myself, they see me making poor life decisions, they see me chasing after a situation that is toxic, or they see me chasing a person that is toxic, or they see me at a job that is toxic, and they could listen to me complain, and they can listen to me, perhaps even make myself sound like a victim, right? And we've all have had those experiences where we're listening to someone vent, and they're saying, this could change if only the other person would do this. This could change if only the other person would do that. This could change if they just thought about me. This could change if them. And what they're not saying is, this could change if I just stop speaking to them. This could change if I just leave this job. This could change if I just stopped responding. This could change if I did something different. You see what I mean? When you don't love yourself, you're always looking for something outside of you to change your circumstances, because you don't want to take responsibility for the choices that you made, even if the choice you made is the absence of making a choice at all. Not making a choice is still a choice. So we can't fix anyone. We can't Make them see that the reason you're in toxic relationships all the time is because that's what you think you deserve. You have a toxic relationship with yourself. You don't think you're worthy of a healthy relationship. You don't think you're worthy of a job that pays you well. You don't think you're worthy of someone speaking nicely to you. You don't think you're worthy of the best thing in life, whether that be a job, a person, a place to live, a meal, clothing, whatever. You just don't think you're worthy, and therefore you continue to find yourself attracted to situations and people that reinforce that unworthiness. I've said this many times to people I've loved and love. I've said this many times to people I've counseled, as a spiritual advisor, as a psychic medium, as a light worker mentor. We cannot, in any way, shape, or form, breach the sacred boundary of free will. So, what do you do? Right? What do you do when you're dealing with someone who you love deeply, you love dearly, and you see them going down? What do you do? Well, be honest. Be honest. And when I say be honest, I don't mean be malicious. I don't mean screaming to the top of your lungs at them. I don't mean piling on. I mean when you can detach your emotions and your treatment of their decisions, when you can detach yourself from the outcome or where you see things going, when you can detach emotionally, you simply just state the facts. Listen, I see you're drinking too much. I see you're smoking too much. I see you're eating too much. And I am doing my best to assist in any way that you allow me to assist you. But if you don't think there's a problem, then I'm the problem. And if that's the case, that's okay. But I have found that our relationship, our love, is actually becoming toxic for me. I am not happy when I see you hurting yourself. I become depressed, anxious, hurt, or you are hurtful when you're hurting yourself. You are toxic to me when you are toxic to yourself. And therefore, I'm sharing this with you in hopes that you will reevaluate your position. Now, this is where I want to pause. Asking someone to reevaluate their position doesn't mean they will. Asking someone to see things from your point of view doesn't mean they will. Because here's the thing, if you've been that person where they've always been able to vent to you, they've always been able to get your help, they've always been able to count on you while literally not lifting a finger to do anything different, they're not going to believe you at first. They're not going to believe you at second. They're probably not going to believe you at third. When they will believe you is when you start extracting yourself from the situation. When you say plainly, okay, I feel like I've given you enough time to think about it. Things haven't changed. The situation hasn't changed. It's causing me to feel even more unhappy, even more sad, even more hurt, whatever the case may be. If the person's become emotionally, verbally, psychologically abusive, and they can't be reasoned with, and they don't care that you're hurting, and they don't care that they're the ones that is hurting you, you have to extract yourself at this point. And why am I saying it in a way that it just, excuse me, I need some water, sounds like such an easy decision? I will not fool you in the slightest. It's not an easy decision to separate yourself from someone you love. But here's the ultimate question. And I actually said this to a client last week. Do you love them more than you love you? And if the answer is you do love them more than you love yourself, this is where I need to make you aware that you both have a problem. And likely yours is self-worth, self-love, self-respect. Because if you choose to stay in a situation where not only is the other person is hurting, but the other person is hurting you, and you're allowing yourself to be hurt, there's no need for you to wait for them to change when it's very obvious and very clear you need to change something about you. In that you need to consider why you're with someone who hurts themselves, and then willingly stay with someone who hurts you. You see, love is a lot deeper and a lot more complicated than we realize. There's always going to be a question of who do you love more? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the answer is yourself. That's the correct answer. That is the only answer. You must love yourself first and foremost. You must love yourself more than any other person on the planet. And why do I say that? Because a lack of self-love leaves you very vulnerable to manipulation, control, abuse. And so you need to be able to have such a great, loving, trusting relationship with yourself that when people either overtly, covertly, consciously, or subconsciously try to manipulate, try to control, try to abuse, that you are ready, willing, able, and fiercely will protect yourself. If you don't protect yourself, who will? If you don't advocate yourself, who will? You know what I mean? The world really doesn't owe you that, but you definitely owe that to yourself. Even we have this whole ideology that it's the parent's job to protect the children. You know, not every parent is equipped to do that. So I guess that one's not really a rule. It's more of an ideal. You won't make great decisions for yourself if you don't love yourself first. You won't choose the right job, the right partner, the right friends. You won't. You will surround yourself with however you feel about yourself. And ideally, if you're living a life of spiritual awareness or pursuing spiritual health, well-being, alignment, ascension, you know, all those catchphrases, then you will constantly be looking around yourself and going, who am I bringing into my life? And is this good for me? Is this in my best and highest good? And if not, you got to reevaluate both yourself and those situations. So, it's a hard thing to talk about, right? It's a hard thing to talk about. It's even harder to live. And I'm not saying this is something that you should do overnight. I'm not even sure that you could do something like that overnight. It has to be part of your daily practice. A lot of you do your affirmations, you do your meditations, you do your yoga, you do whatever it is that gives you that kind of centering, you know, feel good moment. But like I was just saying to a friend over the weekend, what's the purpose of a practice? A practice is for you to make something second nature. So it no longer becomes a practice, it becomes a way of life. And if you didn't know that, I'm happy to say that again. Your spiritual practice is a tool for you to change how you live your everyday life. So ideally, you will change attracting toxic people, attracting toxic friends, accepting toxic jobs and accepting living in toxic environments. You will change that because the practice is to learn to love yourself, protect yourself, advocate yourself, speak for yourself, fight for yourself if necessary, and using your own voice and standing up for yourself. These aren't just, mind exercises. These are tools for you to change how you think, change how you react, change how you see yourself, change how you see the world, and change yourself to become a better version of yourself so that you can make a better and more positive impact on the world. That's what this is all about. But the loving of another person cannot affect that kind of change because they have their own thoughts. They have their own free will. They have their own stuff. They have their own work. They have their own feelings, their own trauma, their own story, their own. You have no say as to whether or not they're going to wake up tomorrow and want to be different. You have no control as to whether or not they're going to wake up tomorrow and go, you know what, I have a drinking problem. I have a smoking problem. I have a substance abuse problem. I have a problem with me and I don't love me enough. I'm going to do something different. Believe me, I've tried. I'm sure some of you have tried. I'm sure others have tried with you. We know it doesn't work. It only works when we look at ourselves and go, I'm tired of you. I'm sick of you being the way that you've been. I'm tired of being toxic. I'm tired of being a mess. I'm tired of being so dramatic. I'm tired of being sad, angry, depressed, hurting, feeling like an open wound. I want to do something different. I can't live like this anymore. Until somebody chooses that for themselves, all you're doing on the sidelines is loving, pleading, possibly crying, maybe getting angry, maybe throwing ultimatums at them. And you know what? How many times has it actually worked? How many times has it actually gotten them to change for good? Not for the next 5 minutes, not for the next 10 minutes, not for the next few weeks, not for the next month, not for even the next year, but changing themselves for the better forever. I highly doubt any of you have been successful at that because I know I've tried it and it doesn't work. And so therefore, love does say, right? If you love someone, be willing to let them go, set them free, right? Yeah, that may be the thing that you have to do, especially if you don't want to go wherever it is they're heading. They're heading downward in a downward spiral, down a dark path, towards hurt, towards pain, towards torture, towards death. You got to know when to get off the train, so to speak. You got to know when to go, I love you, but I'm going to have to do it from a distance because I'm not going to go with you. I'm not going to go down with you. I'm not going to go down that path with you. So yeah, love. Love can heal you. Self-love can heal yourself. And the beauty of that is when a person truly loves themselves and they've changed themselves and they've started to upgrade, they have no idea how many people are watching them do that work, watching them meet the challenges, watching them, do whatever it takes to be better. A lot of people are watching. So I always say, when you're doing the work, believe it or not, you're also a teacher because a lot of people are watching you live the example that it can be done. So while you may have to love yourself enough to leave someone, to walk away from a situation, other people who are struggling with that same question of do I stay or do I leave are watching you thrive, prosper, grow, become happy in spite of whatever or whomever, choosing you, choosing joy, choosing growth, choosing light. And they now know it's possible if I really apply myself, do the hard thing, do the hard work, practice with the best tools that are going to get me to the results I'm looking for. It can be done. It's not impossible. It's just not going to be easy. Okay, so think about that. Think about what you thought love was versus what I'm telling you love truly is. It does heal us. It can only give others something to ponder if they're willing to ponder it. But even for them to ponder, they have to be willing to love themselves enough to see the truth. And that, again, you cannot do for them. This is why I'm always telling you to love yourself. This is why I'm always telling you to choose yourself. Because you literally cannot save another person from themselves if it's them who are the root cause of the pain. And what I mean by that is it doesn't matter what happened to us yesterday. It matters whether or not we choose to begin healing today. You see what I mean? You can't change the past, but you can take the present and consider what you want the future to look like and plan and act accordingly. Okay? So thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you've enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button. If you want to join me every week for these messages, please make sure you subscribe. And make sure if you're really feeling something about today's message after you pondered, gathered your thoughts, that you comment. I read these comments, I respond to these comments. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say, stories that you perhaps want to share with regards to love and its limitations, if you will. All right, so thanks so much. Have a great week, everyone. I'll see you here next week. Namaste.